Hey guys, Dr. Dex here. Welcome to the Dr. Dex podcast. I'm here with my friend, Marcello. Now, how do you pronounce your last name, Marcello? Guimarães?
Good luck with that, man. It's Guimarães, but for you guys in the U.S., Guimarães is just fine.
Oh, sure. Okay. I'm going to let you...
Guimarães.
Guimarães. Well, Marcel...
Yeah, you can go Marcelo V,
V?
and that's fine. That's the middle name from my mom.
What's V? What's the V?
Vieira.
Vieira?
Vieira. Yeah, that's easier.
Vieira. I'm going to call you Marcello.
Vieira. All right, man. Let's do it.
Or MV. How about that? So Marcello, your title. What?
I am the marketing director of GMX Group.
Okay. Now we're going to get into all that. There's a little, it's actually took me a minute to figure all this out. It wasn't really explained to me all that well in the beginning, or maybe I just didn't understand it all, because there's this big umbrella and there's these multiple components underneath the umbrella. And we'll describe all that. But Marcello, I think you're the furthest away we've had on our podcast. You're all the way, where are you?
Oh man, I am in South Brazil.
South Brazil.
In a city called Curitiba.
I know that one.
So, yeah, it is a fun place, man.
Yeah?
This is one of the best cities to live in Brazil. Like probably most likely the best city to live in Brazil.
Yeah.
But this is very different than what people expect of Brazil. So this is not the tropical kind of beach place. This is like it's known in Brazil, Curitiba, to be the Europe portion of Brazil. It's also nothing to do with Europe, but it's a different place from Brazil entirely.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. That's. I mean, there's so many questions I have for you, and this hour is going to go by really quick. So,
Awesome.
Marcello, you work. That's your title, so explain to me who you actually work for.
Okay, that's a good one, and a little bit of a difficult one for people from the outside of the organization, of course. But in general, the names that most likely people in the building industry will understand. We work mainly for Maximo Wood. I would say that is the builder that you see on the outside. I mean, not the builder, the building product that you are going to see and recall. So we manufacture high quality hardwoods, high quality thermally modified woods. We just brought in the Accoya brand to the umbrella of Maximo for the decking division. So we specialize in premium wood, and we're democratizing that and making that available for a lot of people for multiple different applications. So that's what you are going to recognize the most. But Maximo is part of a bigger holding group, as we call, which is the GMX Group. And then under the GMX Group, we have multiple other brands. We have retail channel, and we have accessories and tools, hardware and such. We have composite wood and yet a different brand of ours. So we are responsible for now 5 leading brands in the building material industry in the United States. So it's been a fun ride, man.
You are juggling 5 balls all at once, all the time.
Yes, we are.
We came up with I think it should be a hashtag and a slogan of your company. Maximo Wood, pivot hard.
Right. Yeah. I think. Yeah. Go ahead.
You guys are like I know Giovanni. We'll talk about him and all that. But again, this podcast is about Marcello. But you guys switch directions so quickly, so efficiently, with such sharp edges. It's like I can't even follow you sometimes, man. I don't know how you do it, Marcello, because it's got to be a certain amount of stress that you endure. And how do you alleviate that sometimes? Like you get stacks. You get stacked and stacked and stacked. And not just by one company. You have 5 different companies that you're responsible for inside this bigger company. So it's 6, that's really, right. Or whatever. I could be 20 for all I know. There might be other ones underneath that umbrella as well. But you must have a pretty good team that you can help delegate some of these responsibilities, correct?
Let's start by the start then, which is exactly what you just said there. So this is far from being Marcello. So I am lucky to have a peer that's just an awesome marketer too. His name is called Bruno Macchioni. He's down here in Brazil with me, and he is on the performance side of things, right? So he's a super seasoned marketing guy. He has been, leading big marketing teams in different industries in the past, and he's with us for a little over a year now, maybe. But I've been working with, and both of us report to the same CMO, and his name is Kevin Kilpatrick. Of course, you know him very well.
I do.
A good relationship, all three of us.
Love you, Kev.
And yeah, love you too, boss. All right.
Yeah, boss.
Yeah, we'll talk about my raise later, but this is just let's keep it.
We'll keep that for the bonus episode.
That's right.
Okay,
let's talk about.
We always talk about financials in the bonus episode, and
we better.
Just for our listeners, we have a Patreon channel, so we don't really get too descriptive about any particular thing in this general podcast. But if you want some of the nitty gritty on some of this dirt, or maybe some of the financials of things, that's where you got to subscribe and pay that $5-10 a month, whatever level tier you want to be on, for our Patreon channel. So links in the description below, but please continue.
Of course. So we have Kevin Kilpatrick, and this is a guy who's been around for a while now in the building industry. He has big experience. He was the director of marketing for Lowe's, and then for Home Depot. He ran advertising for a while. So it's his vision is what we really work with here in marketing, and we're happy to just bring a lot of the tropical kind of vision to him. So my advertising background counts a lot, so we can talk about that later. But to answer your question, I just wanted to start saying that there's just way more than me. We have a team of 10 people in marketing, a little over 10 people in marketing actually, driving all of this. But it's still a small team if you think about all the organizations or all the companies, all the brands that we have to run.
Yeah.
So some end up getting more attention, and I would say that Maximo is one that we're accelerating the most right now, because there's just this hype for thermally modified wood right now in the United States, and we're leading the industry. I'm very proud to say that in just 3 years doing Maximo, we're already the number one thermal wood brand in the United States. In terms of
one
sales.
One word comes to mind for me. I didn't know about this word before I met you guys, and that is iOS.
iOS, and I think whoever saw that or put their hands on it, they immediately fall in love. Honestly, man,
bro, it is an incredible material. Yeah,
I've been selling Ipe for a while. Ipe wood, the dense hardwood for decking, and that's just a classical, right? You talk Ipe, everybody knows, and they put but this is like. I think the contrast is when I talk Ipe wood, it's like everybody understands easily. When I talk AOS, they're like, "What is it?" And then when you give them a board to hold and even smell, because it smells deliciously, right?
Yes.
Like when people touch it, it's like, "Wow, what is this?" And we're like, "Dude, this is the best thing that's out there for walls and
sliced bread." Yeah, dude. The first time I saw it, I was like, I was looking, and Giovanni introduced me to it. I'm like, I look at him, and I didn't see. Quick, can we talk really quick about who Giovanni is?
We'll go back to pivot hard in a few minutes. No worries, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, dude, we're way off kilter for this podcast. Okay, so let's get to the roots of why we're here. This podcast is about you. We'll get into the business side of the business a little bit later, but I really want to know about Marcello. Yeah, rewind. Let's rewind this. Let's get back to Marcello. I want to know about your upbringing. Like, where were you born? Were you raised in this town that you live in now, or tell me.
Man, so this is, the story of one's life is always very interesting for that one, right? And I don't know how interesting it is for other people. So. I just consider myself to be being a very, very blessed guy, and because just sometimes life gives you a lot of advantages, and that was my case. I was just born to a beautiful family. Like my mom and dad were just terrific with me, being like the parents that really want to take the best out of their kid, but they're not going to spoil the kid. So they're, my education level and everything they did for me was just terrific and brought me to be the man I am today and the father I am today and the husband. So one of the things people ask, especially in the US, people ask me like, hey, but dude, how do you speak English like this? Because, it's not it's a second language. So,
Of course.
but it's, sometimes people don't, I mean, of course, the American folks out there listening to me, you're like, I know this guy is not American. I'm not saying I am, but just, it's a better English than most of people who don't live in the United States. I
100%.
would say, yeah.
I've spent 5 days with Marcello straight once, and his English is excellent. Just so you know, but there was a few times where like, how do you say this?
Right.
And then I would fill in the blanks.
There you go.
But you have excellent.
Yeah,
and that was
you.
one of my questions to you,
Yeah.
but you already addressed it. So when did you learn to speak English?
There you go. That's where I was getting. So the story is my dad, and this is where I think it gets really interesting to me. My dad was entrepreneur. So he just loved to get in new trouble every time, right? And then there was this time, you guys, of course, don't know about this, but this was just amazingly, like, the way that things happen in my dad's life is just, you see God's hand and chance very much, right? So it's just like, there's something driving him. And then in Brazil, a country that is neighbor to us is called Paraguay. And then in Paraguay, we in southern Brazil are very close. It's like a state. It's like, going from Florida to Georgia. So you just, you drive a few hours and then you're in Paraguay. And what happens is Paraguay has this kind of like free tax benefit. So they have a lot of goods that you can buy for a lot less than in Brazil. So it is a common thing that you in Brazil, you get your car, you go there, you buy a lot of stuff and you come back. So we're like in the 1980s now. And then my dad goes to Paraguay and he's just looking for something to, whatever, he's just shopping around.
When were you born?
I was born in 1983.
Okay.
So that was 3 years before I was born. And then my dad goes into Paraguay and he was just watching, in front of a store, there was a television. And then he looks at the television and he's like, oh, I've watched this movie before. That's a great scene. And then the guy who speaks Spanish and my dad speaks Portuguese. So he picks up my dad's comment and he's like, whoa, hey, listen, you want to see that again? And then he rewinds. And then my dad is like, whoa, what just happened? Did you just rewind television, my friend? And the guy says, well, no, this is not television. This is something called VCR. And he was like, what is it? And, short story is my dad falls in love with that. And he says, how does it work? And where can I buy it? And the guy says, well, I'm selling it right now. It just came from the US or whatever. And my dad says, how do people get their movies, their films? And the guy says, well, there isn't a market for that. And my dad says, well, there isn't one now.
Yeah, there is now.
So give it to me and let me buy it. And then he brings home to Brazil and he opens a video store, like is that what it's called? A video store?
Video rentals, yeah.
Video rental, right? And then he buys that and he starts working with that. And then he opens, next thing you know, we're the biggest chain in southern Brazil.
You're the Blockbuster of Brazil.
Yeah, like the little Blockbuster of Brazil. But it was
amazing.
Small, like, under 20 branches. It was small. But
it
was like all 20 branches were like in just a few kilometers, a few miles, because we're all concentrated in Curitiba. But then the story is this just brought us so much leverage or revenue and such that my dad was just the biggest in southern Brazil. And then 1990, he says, you know what? I'm a big fan of the US. I love traveling there. So he went to the US like 3 times a year. And then he would go to Blockbusters and learn how they operated and then come back to Brazil and implement a lot of the Blockbuster mindset. So we were kind of like, different than Blockbuster, but it was this kind of like energy from Blockbuster that we borrowed. So then
what was it called?
It was called Video Show.
Ah.
And that was a good question, man. So show in Portuguese, it's very similar to the US, but show is like a concert, right? So show is like, boom, it's just when something very cool happens. So it was like boom kind of video vibe, right? It was very nice and I was super proud of it. And then in the 1990s, my dad says, hey, you know what? I got 2 kids and, this business is just going on its own, man. I don't need to do much. And he had CEOs and stuff just working for him. So we just went to the US and we spent 2 years there. So I was 7. And then I learned to speak English. I went to, Mrs. Brown. I remember my first teacher, and it was just like amazing. So I had the chance to go there.
You're 7 years old. You guys moved to the United States. Where did you land?
Orlando, Florida.
Okay. Heading there in a month and a half or so. I just booked the flights.
Really? Yeah.
For IBS. We're going to Orlando. You should come.
Dude, I'm still considering that, but whatever happens, if I go or not, we want you in the Maximo booth because it's going to be a killer again. We're very proud of what we're designing, man.
I'm proud of you guys. I want to keep talking about all this, but again, we still need to learn about Marcello because we've learned about your dad, we've learned about where you're from, and this is why I love doing this. Though I didn't know any of this about Marcello, V, Marcello G.
Marcello VG.
VG.
Yeah.
So what a crazy opportunity. So your dad was very successful. He took on VHS. He made it into something. Yeah. You guys moved to Florida. Now, what are you doing in Florida? So you're 7 years old. You're learning English.
Yeah. So it just made it so much more easier to me, right? So just let me rewind this 1 second here. And this is very personal. I just want to make sure that I honor my mom. Because
of course
there's a song in Portuguese that says, and I love Brazilian music. I know that's probably something we're going to talk briefly about, but there's this song that I love that it just says that behind a great man, there's always a great woman, right? So then my mom was just the person that really stood out in the family, and she was, like the pillar of the family. So my dad was in business, but she was always working besides him and running the show. Kiki? That kind of vibe, my friend. That's what I'm talking about. So we don't see it. We don't see her building the decking, but we know how important of a role she has. That was my mom.
My business would fall apart without my wife.
There you go.
Like nothing would be paid. Yeah. Nothing would be paid. No calls would be made. Half the, I was paying more in late fees. Before she came on board, I was paying more in late fees than I was in actual credit card payments, and every single one of them was late.
Wow.
All my licenses were late. All my contractor's license would almost expire because I was on the last day. I'd have to drive it down an hour and a half away to pay it. That kind of thing. So
Isn't that incredible when these angels just fall into our lives and just change everything for us? I mean, I'm so grateful for my mom and my wife. I mean, she's the same thing for me, man.
Yeah. I can't wait to meet her someday.
Yeah, you will, for sure.
Well, that's a cool thing. So I'm going to divulge a little bit. I know Marcello originating through a company called Lumber Plus. Now, Lumber Plus is one of the companies owned by the GMX Group.
That's right.
So stay with the path, listeners, and whoever's watching the video on how the chain works, as we're going to be talking about all these different brands and things like that. Then Maximo Woods is a separate company. Maximo makes Ipe. So it's like there's a company called Ironwood. I'm going to get a little nerdy. In my region, Ironwood was the Ipe brand to buy in the 90s and the 2000s. So I see Maximo now as the new Ironwood. Ironwood's a trade name. People started calling Ipe Ironwood, and I'd have to correct them and go, no, Ironwood's a brand. Ipe is a species. So now Maximo is the new way to buy Ipe.
I think you just put it beautifully. That's pretty much what we're doing. Branding commodities and just, because it's not just branding the commodity. If you think about it, it's the way that our Ipe is selected. This is like handpicked, board by board. Only a select few get to be called Maximo, really. I mean, if you look at there are, like I'm in my office here, you're going to see, some Ipe over here. Some boards get to be called Maximo. Some boards don't get to be called.
You have a standard line of Ipe, and then you have your Maximo line of Ipe.
There you go.
So there's a premium brand, which I picked up on when I toured the facility in Miami.
There you go.
Okay. And I was like, for a wood nerd, or I mean, I started out in tight knot cedar. The first 25 years of my career, first 20 years of my career was tight knot cedar, and then to walk into a warehouse full of all clear, hardly any knots anywhere, just premium, like 8x12s and things I've never seen in my life before, except in fine hotels and $1 jillion houses. It's just amazing. So back to Marcello. We're 7 years old.
Yeah, right. So then
We're learning English. We learn English. Then what? What after those 2 years? What happens?
Then we came back to Brazil, and then life continued over here. I went to bilingual schools because then English was my thing. My mom says that, and this is very interesting, man. How people, kids pick up things quickly. So I came here. I was 7. I did not take English lessons. I just went to the United States, and one day my mom and dad took me to school, and they're like, "Off you go, bud. Go, and that's it." And I'm like, "Wait, well, how do I say I want to use the bathroom, the restroom?" And they were just like, "Dude, just go. That's part of your formation. You gotta survive." And then my dad came up with this, and I cried all day long, of course. And then the teacher had to call my mom and dad, and my mom came back, whatever. And then there was a day that my dad said, "Well, this is going tough, man. I mean, the guy is really suffering." And then he went to Costco or whatever, and then he bought these little Hot Wheels that they're like red, and then if you put them on cold water, they would turn blue.
Oh,
Again,
cool.
man, this is like 35 years ago, right?
Right.
So that was kind of like, whoa, you never seen something like that. So then my dad bought like 5 of those. And then when I came home one day after crying so much, he said, "Listen, bud, if every day that you get to stay in school, that you don't ask to come home earlier, you get one of these. Now go to your bathroom and put it on the water and see what happens." Dude, that just blew my mind and changed my perspective. So long story short, I stayed 5 days in a row in school. I started liking school. I got to speak English and all that. So it's interesting to see how we pick these things up and how we just get, start. Yeah.
It's kind of like you never knew how to swim, and your dad throws you in the deep end of the pool and says, "All right, come to the side, and I'll pull you out."
There you go. Come here, and I'll throw you
There's your reward,
candy bar.
a life preserver. Yeah,
there you go.
Bar. I don't want the life preserver. I want a Snickers.
There you go. That's pretty much what happened, man. And I just
bro,
came through.
that's a little bit rough, but okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Then,
so go ahead.
Yeah, and then just life. We started. My dad, sold his business to Blockbuster. That was
Really?
pretty interesting story. So Blockbuster got to Brazil, 90s or something. These guys got here, and they were just calling bigger chains and saying like, "We want to buy you," and people were like, "Heck no, let's compete." Okay, and so they went to São Paulo first, and then there was this guy in São Paulo, dude. I'm talking like a guy who would drive a Ferrari. It was just the biggest chain in Brazil, and Blockbuster said, "I want to buy you." And the guy said, "I'm not for sale." And no kidding, man, like year and a half, and this guy goes bankrupt. And then Blockbuster's just,
Wow.
and
Killing
then
him.
after seeing that, these guys called my dad and they were like, "Are you for sale?" My dad said, "Well, yeah, I am now, after what I saw in São Paulo, yes, I am for sale." And then we sold, and then my dad went into different businesses. So it was all fun. But then things got really, really tough, really tough. In 1997, I believe, in 1999 maybe. So I was like 16, 18, 20-year-olds, something like that. And then what happened is my dad and my sister, so we're in 4, right? Mom, dad, me, and my sister. And then my sister said, "You know what, guys? We went bankrupt, like big time, Doc. Big time. I mean, really, I've seen very little people in my life who just went just like from such a high place down quickly. I mean, no kidding. I was living in the 30th floor of a super cool premium building in Curitiba where I could see the whole city. And then next day, no kidding, it's like not like I didn't go other place before. Like next day, somebody takes our apartment, the bank takes our apartment. And the next day, I'm sleeping on the floor of what used to be our office. We didn't even have beds. We had some, dude, what's it's
A
not the
cot,
bed.
a mattress,
It's
a mattress,
a mattress. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
So we're sleeping in a mattress in the living room in a meeting room of what was our office. So kind of crazy. It was all like that. And then my sister looks at that reality. We lived that for like about a year maybe, and she's like, you know what? I'm not doing this. This is crazy. There's nothing here in Brazil for us. I want to go to the U.S. and I want to do au pair. Remember those days?
Uh-huh.
So like you
Uh-huh.
just babysit or something in exchange for the living with a family. And so she did, and then she stayed there for a few months, and then my mom said, "Hey, you know what? America was our home for a few years, and we have everything and the social security. I mean, let's just go back there." And then my mom said, "I'm going." And then my dad said, "Well, you know what? Why don't I go too?" And then they looked at me and they're like, "When are you going?" I'm like, "Well, I just met this girl."
Yeah.
And they were like, "Dude, I mean, no, you're 18, or you come with us." I was like, "No, just give me some time. I'm studying and I want to finish my college or something." And so 22 years later, here I am, man. I'm in Brazil.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
So
stayed
so
for Sarah,
you
who
went
is my
through.
wife, and for my career, right? So
Awesome.
all pretty cool.
Awesome. I'm happy for you that you
Yeah.
did, because it sounds like
Me
you have
too,
a really
man.
great life.
Oh man, I'm super happy and thankful.
So we skipped through a couple things just real quick. So can we go back? Like, how is the school structure in Brazil compared to the United States? Like, United States, you have grade school, and then you have junior high school, and then you have senior high school.
All
So
very similar.
Okay, so were you into academics? Were you into sports? What did you do for hobbies or anything like that in your junior high and high school years?
Cool. So it is similar. We don't take sports like the college football and baseball and basketball that you guys have that is very strong. Here is incomparably weaker, right? We love playing ball and sports, but it's just not a college thing where you just turn pro after that or something like that. So it's very different. But my life was just built around football, which you guys call soccer. Right? Yeah. So that was my big thing. And
Typical Brazilian.
right, man. I'll always, Kevin, he's like, "What do you call it football, man? That's soccer." And then I stiff arm him and I say, "Wait, man, is it? We call it football because we're playing with our feet, right?" And then we just joke about that. So it's a good discussion to have. But yeah, then I just simply played ball all my life, man. I was
Okay.
not good enough to become a pro, but good enough to be my my hobby and something that I spend a lot of my years playing, and I still do, like every week.
Okay.
I love it.
So then, how were you? Did you do good in your academics during school?
I was doing pretty fine. I mean, not average, not super good, but just there were these different classes that I would just love. So arts and history and literature and Portuguese or English, that kind of stuff, that just rocked my world. That's what I still love, but till today. And then math and these other stuff, dude, that's just, I was falling apart, right? And I was never doing good. But today with the guy that I am and the career that I have, I totally understand that I was just focusing on what I loved most, which is honestly, it's what school should be all about, right? It's stuff that you make a person just focus on something that he'll never be good at because he is pretty much not born with that side of the brain to rock on that.
Did they have any kind of shop class or where you work with your hands at all, or crafting or anything like that?
Oh, yeah, and I love that too, very much. Yeah. Like arts, and we would get very creative and hands-on on a lot of things, especially on the international school that I went to, that I was bilingual. And this school, I was like one of the only Brazilians there, because that school was built for American folks that went to Brazil and needed to put their kids on a school that respected the U.S. Protocols, right? So here in Brazil, what happens is the year starts in January. So then, the school year starts late January, and then it goes until early December. And then you stop for pretty much 2 months and you get big holidays. In the US, it's different. It starts in August and then it ends in June or something, right? So this other school started in August, and everything was the American way. So it was like, instead of the metric system, it was the imperial system.
Imperial,
just like you guys, right?
All right.
So like I have, Yeah, which is tough, man, until now. I mean, I'm selling stuff by foot long, and I just can't.
Yeah.
It's difficult. It's challenging to do the conversion.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, same here. Like, I can't measure anything in millimeters,
I bet.
or meters. And you guys are always talking in meters. I'm like, okay, that's 2.2 feet.
Right.
This, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to calculate in my head.
Yeah.
I was never good in math either in high school. I only made it to like algebra 3, 4. And I never took trigonometry or any of that other stuff. I kind of wish I would, because many angles that I deal with nowadays, man, it's crazy that
Right.
think that
Right.
I didn't excel in math. But okay, so then you decided to go to college?
Yeah. So then, yeah, my wife. I mean, we broke and we didn't have money for anything. So I was just kind of try to see what I would do. And then college over here it's again. So Brazil is it's almost the opposite of what it is in the United States. So we go to private schools pretty much all our lives. And then when we get to high school, it's also private, but then there's like a few very select and very prestigious institutions from the government that you get to go to and attend for free. Those are like the federal institutions. So those are the best in the country. And I didn't have, good enough grades for that, I thought. And then in Brazil, you take a test for those colleges. It's not like your full life student grades that are put into a system that says if you get in or not. It's like whatever you had in the past, you got to take a few rounds of tests to show how good you are, and then if you are, you get or not in these institutions. So then I was like 2 years without studying, and then my wife, today is my wife, she was my girlfriend at the time, she was just saying like, dude, you got to get back on your feet, and you got to go to a college. So, go and do this test for this institution. I said, well, girl, I don't have any money for that. No kidding. It cost, today's money, it cost $55. And I didn't have $55 to put the money in the institution. So her dad paid that for me. And then he said, hey, let's just go. And then it was literature. So I chose literature because it was, the less competitive landscape for me. And I was out of school for 2 years. So I said, let's just try something that moves me. But I was 100% into advertising. But I knew that I didn't have, advertising was just too busy for me. Too many people trying it for the same time. And when I say too many people trying, it's like it's one opportunity. That's not the right way to say it, but it's like one seat for like 200-300 people, right? So it's very difficult. So I was like,
one out of 300 would get the opportunity.
there you go. Yeah, and then you have thousands of people. So I was like, nah, that's too tough. So I went to literature, and then dude, just God blessed me, and I got in.
Yeah.
And then that changed my life because I read, the more books I've ever read in my life. I was just a big time reader, and that just put me and built the person that I am today. I mean, you see me in advertising over here or in marketing and all that good stuff, but it's, I'm a copywriter from origin. That's what I did for a long time in my career, creative agencies. And yeah, it was very cool, man. It was very cool. So
what did you do for income before you went to college?
Dude, I was just working. How ironic. So when we sold to Blockbuster, my dad had a few big competitors in the city. And then, as a competitor, the owner and you respect the owner, but you're not really friends with the owner. And then when we broke and when we went broke, this guy reached out to my dad and he said, listen, I know you guys probably need help there. So I'm willing to offer Marcello his first job. And then I think I was 16 and I went to work and I was a video clerk in my dad's number one competitor. So dude, that almost killed my dad,
Oh, I bet.
It is what it is, man.
Yeah.
It's just funny to see that, something like that go down.
It is what it is. We say that quite often. Yeah. That's great. Okay, so then you go to college, and how long was that? How long was that process?
Oh, it was like 5 years in college, maybe. Just
5 years.
But already working, right? So then I got out of a video clerk thing, and then I just went to show my portfolio. I went to the U.S. for 6 months, so I stopped studying really quick. I went for 6 months there, and I said I'm going to prepare a portfolio because some dude in advertising said, hey, if you want to come in advertising, you need a portfolio. I was like, what the heck is a portfolio? He said, I don't know, man, just come up with 10 cool print work from like magazine ads and just come up with that and send me. I went to the US and I rebooted my career and I said, okay, I'm gonna come back from the US with a portfolio, like an advertising book. So I did. In 6 months, I did one, and I went back to a huge agency here in Curitiba. I just said, God, this is on you, and I'm gonna knock on big doors. I'm not gonna dream small, man. So I did, and just the first door that opened to me was a big agency over here, and these guys said, listen, I don't have money for you, but I want you in here. So you're gonna be a free intern. You're not making any dollars on me. And they're like, really? I'm like, at this point, I'm like 23 or something. And I'm like, dude, it's like, I need money. And these guys said, well, you got to prove yourself first. So I did. And man, it was just so much fun that these guys took me in. And I, of course, they paid me later. So I was making a decent salary and just trying to get my life together back again on my own, living, without mom, dad, and sister. It was tough, but it was just building me to be the guy that I am today, which is very cool.
Yeah, man.
And then I went to...
Gave you some grit.
Oh, very much, man. More than you can tell.
No, I like it. Yeah. I like it.
And then I made to the bigger agencies and started working on some good stuff. And then, sometime in the career, then what happened is, I got blessed again in that we just ran, one campaign. We did this a few times with different campaigns. But then you just start getting attention and rocking on global festivals and doing the big stuff. And then...
give me an example.
Well, yeah, man, we got like Cannes Lions and LIA, which is London International Advertising Festivals, and then the New York Club and one show from New York. I mean, we're talking about like, this is like Oscars of advertising. So I was super blessed to win pretty much all of them. And it was really cool. Out of a town like Curitiba, man, which is like, that's what's in Sao Paulo, people get that all the time, in New York and Los Angeles. But in Curitiba, it's not often. I have very little colleagues in town that really got anywhere close to this. So that was like, really, really cool. So that changed my life. Yeah. And it just gave me the freedom to say, all right, you know what? If I've been through the circuit entirely, let me just open my shop. And so I did. I kind of dropped everything and I started my own advertising agency with... You
did?
Oh, yeah.
What was it called?
It was called Buenas. So Buenas in Spanish is like, good. It's like how people say salute, like salute. Yeah. So it's like aloha for Spanish, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's...
Yeah, we have an influencer in the States that uses that to open every one of his
we do.
videos.
I know who we're talking about, man. Yeah.
Hollywood, Tony.
Hey, here's to you, Tony.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's from Jacksonville,
He's been on.
by the way. And guess what?
Yeah.
My family lives in Jacksonville right now. So every year I go to Jax and I spend time with those guys. Never sat to have some coffee with Tony though, but I owe him that and he owes me that. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah. But we got to spend some time together.
I'll facilitate that for you too.
Thank you, man.
Yes, I got this.
Awesome.
All right, so keep going. Yeah. Wow. So you, without sounding with no conceit or no overconfidence or anything like that, you kind of became this superstar in your company. Yeah. You really were at the top level. And I can attest to this because I've had to work with Marcello very closely on quite a few smaller projects that we do through our social media. He's very creative, but he still lets me be me, but he helps me along the way to bring out the best in Dr. Dex for whatever the task is that we're at hand.
Yeah, well, working with good talent just makes it easier, Doc. You know what I'm talking about. So
of course.
Throughout
absolutely.
my entire career, again, I was very lucky and very, very blessed to just have the right people beside me and with me and above me and sometimes in my team. So, I had this amazing partner called Beanie. And this guy, he was my partner in my agency later. We won big festivals together. It was just so simple to work with that guy. So,
how many people were in your company?
Oh, we were very small because we were a creative boutique. So we would grow
Okay.
for specific clients and then diminish again and go dial it down again.
Roger.
Yeah. So it's like we had a very different model. So the model wasn't like, we didn't have a fee, like a retainer or anything. It was project by project. So it was very specific. Like, Dr. Dex, who are you? Oh, I'm an influencer. What are you looking for? Hey, I need to do this, this, and that. All right, so here's the price for that project. I'm gonna bring in the specific talents for that project. Then we would work on it for like 6 months. We would deliver that and off we go. You know, that would be the case.
Okay.
So this is a very small boutique.
And how long did you have Buenas for?
It was under 3 years. It was very quick.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. And how old are you at this time?
This was just pre-GMX. Pre-GMX. This was like 7 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And how old are you now?
42. So I was like 35-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I don't want to skip. I mean, we're getting really deep into this, but I don't want to skip ahead too far if there's something else that I'm missing here. But it sounds like we have a pretty good timeline so far of Marcello.
All right, man. I'm happy to follow your lead, man. I mean, I don't know what your audience wants to hear, but it's probably not advertising, right?
Well, actually, you know, for me personally, and this is my podcast, so it's interesting to me.
Awesome.
It's interesting to me. And I have not had any negative comments about our podcast, even though except the only thing I've heard is I'm surprised it doesn't have a bigger audience because it's new. Right. We haven't even been at this a year yet, but you came in at a good time because we got how many of these are, what number?
This is episode 40.
40.
Right. Listen, let me.
So you're number 40, Marcel. We have 40 of these things down.
I think I should have started with this,
but,
whatever. Just let me start with it. I mean, let me just midway say it because I feel I have to. Man, thank you very much. I feel absolutely honored to be here. We built, for your audience who doesn't know this, but I was in Miami last year. I go all the time to the U.S. I mean, with having family there, you gotta, but it's less than I want to be there, right? I wanted to go even more, but the time will come.
More.
But so we go to Miami last year and we just drag Jason there. And we say, listen, you come over here and let's just shoot a lot of content.
Run and
together.
gun.
Let's do a lot of good stuff. And so we did. So we spent like 5 days together or something like that. And we had a lot of fun. So thank you for, I think spending so many times in a car like we did and going through Miami and the small towns around Miami for such a long time that summer. It was just so cool. It wasn't last year, it was this year. I mean, we're in 2025 yet, right? It was summer.
Yeah, in April. This is in April. I was 30 pounds heavier then.
Man, you lost some weight.
Well, I want to shoot another series of what we did if the powers that be allow it, and I didn't like the way I looked on camera, so I was like, I got to do something about this.
All right.
Yeah, let's do it again is right. I mean, but the best part about that, Marcello, and sorry I'm going left a little right now, but the best part about this was the editing. Mm-hmm. The way, because we were running and gunning. I didn't know how these were going to turn out. I was thinking, this is going to be similar to our YouTube channel, and then, again, Calvin does a really great job there. But you guys just took it another level, man. Yeah. You took what I did, and then you spun it into something really special.
Thank you, man. Again, teamwork, right? I mean,
very proud. Yeah, man. But it made me really proud. But now that I understand the concept and I understand the delivery, I feel like I can do so much better than we did.
Yeah.
I really do. I think I can give you guys some Easter eggs that when you go back through the footage, you start cracking up laughing because you're going to have to figure out how to put it in the episode, So I hope that we get the opportunity to do it again, that we get to work together again, because even though that was a little bit of torture, how because we only had so much time.
Right. Dude, I think...
Okay, we knew that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm usually very, very critical about my work and work in general. Just because, we put so much time and dedication into that. It's like a deck. I'm sure that when you finish a decking, you look at it and you're like, this could just be this little different, right? So that's
of course
human nature. So of course I'm very critical when I look back at it, but in general, I think that we got some lemons and we turned that into a juicy lemonade because it was tough,
lemonade.
Right? Like, think about it. We had a 3.5 days to shoot. We had no script, because scripts are tough for something like that. The houses and homes that we shot were not finished, so you got to avoid a lot of spaces that you don't want to shoot. Sometimes we had a building, sometimes we didn't. So sometimes you had to go solo.
Yeah.
And we don't want to show decking
Yeah.
because you can't take decking to Instagram for several reasons. Blah, blah, blah.
We're gonna talk about that in the bonus feature or bonus episode. Sorry,
Yeah.
Tom.
So
You can edit around that.
You guys got to pay attention and go on the bonus episode to understand why we couldn't shoot some hardwood decking there, right, Doc?
Listen to him. Yeah, exactly.
That's a marketer
There you
talking.
go.
Hey, I love it, man.
You gotta be premium, my friend, to watch.
Yeah, got to be primo. I mean, dude, it's $5 a month. It's like just clap it down. We haven't even collected off that service yet. We're just letting that little nest egg, because what we'll probably do with that money, that podcast money, we'll reinvest it into the podcast. Okay, so like we need like this microphone right here. I just found out today is almost $500.
Wow.
And that's Calvin's personal property, and he's slugging this thing around to every job site that we have a podcast when we're on site on Fridays. That's just one component, and our hub, the podcast hub we bought, and did we buy that one pre-used or was that brand new?
It was B stock, and it's audio interface.
It was still $1,000.
Wow. Look at that. Yeah.
For four channels, so we could have guests when we get to that point where like we might have a booth with guests or something like that. So it just costs money, let alone your time and my time and Calvin's time and everything else that we're doing. It does. There's an initial investment. Now we could go with cheap equipment, but that's not how we roll.
Of course. No.
I would not. I use premium gear on my job sites. I don't expect us to use cheap gear for anything else that we do.
Totally agree.
So, anyways, thank you, Marcello, for that.
Let me just my take on that is that sometimes we see influencers and we see people doing social media, and we think that everything is about like a profit center, and they just want to make money off of their readers and followers. Mm-hmm. And I'm learning that that's not really the case. It's like, dude, this is not for a massive audience yet, so this is not a profit center. This is like, listen, it's a token of your appreciation. You're saying like, hey, I value this. Here's a little bit of something to help you guys, to work better on this. And I have big respect for that.
You got to thank Studio Man for that, because he's the one that had to convince me and Kiki to do this. Because
and that was hard.
Yeah, man,
really?
this was not on my radar. Like, this is like, Kiki's like, well, that just takes more time away from me. I'm like, what, are you going to do it on Saturday? I'm like, well, okay, I see your point. So she said, if you're going to do it, you can't do it on the weekends, which we have a few times, but just because of timing, or we're out of town or whatever. So she's been pretty lenient, but normally we shoot on Fridays at work. So I shut down 2 hours early on Friday for myself. The crew will keep working, but I stop work to do the podcast. Now, today's a special day because it's 5 hours later in Brazil than it is in the States where we are.
That's right.
Okay, so we had to make sure it worked for both of us. So it's 10 a.m. here. It's 3 p.m. there.
Nearly 4
p.m. there. But anyway, so okay, we need to get through this. Okay, so pre-Maximo.
Yes.
Here we go.
Yeah, that's right. So then, I just went off of my agency. So here's the United States again in my life, right? So the relationship is just, it's something like it has to happen. It's like it's meant to happen. So my family is there, and I quit, I closed my agency, and I'm like, okay, let's just find something else for my career, because it was a great ride, but I wasn't making the money that I expected to make being a business owner, right? So it was very cool. I'm very proud of the work we did. We were a small boutique, and man, we did. I mean, we took on big national clients in Brazil from Curitiba in my own shop. I mean, I won't forget that. That's something that I'm telling my kids, But it was more risky to make money than it was to just making money as something else. So then I took a plane and I went to the US, and I said, you know what? This worked 15 years ago when I went there to do my portfolio, to build my portfolio 20 years ago. It's going to work again. So I did, and it was just before the pandemic. So I went to the US. At this point, I have a kid already. So it was me, my wife, and Miguel. Mm-hmm. and we were just having a blast there in the United States. And I was just, I just rested. You know what I did? I used to go to so I stayed at my sister's, Jacksonville. So I bought, like, no kidding, like a thing this big, just full of different colorful sticky notes. And then I have pictures of that. I love it. So I got, sticky, a place in her wall, in her garage, that I would just put the sticky notes out there. And those were the next steps of my career. So yellow, I want to go this place. Green, I want to go that path. And I was just, spending time in the garage. And then I had like 10 different plans when I came back to Brazil. But then I got held by the COVID. So I was going to I had sold a package, like, I don't know if it's a package, a sponsorship package for one of Brazil's top newspaper. I had sold them this sponsorship opportunity that I would go to Austin to the show called South by Southwest, which I think you guys know. You guys know it?
I don't.
It's an incredible creative show, super cool, like as weird as Austin is. So it has this very cool energy. And it would be my first time there, so I had these sponsors and I was going to go there. And then COVID hits, shuts that project down, and I get in the United States and I am locked out of home because I can't go back to Brazil. And so my money starts, dude, reais. $1 costs over 5 reais for me. So going to the US is heavy. So I just got held up there, and it took me 4 months to come back home. 4 months. So I came back home with all my plans were kind of diluted because I didn't have any money to start them, whatever. And then this guy calls me, and he's like, "Hey, is this Marcello from Buenos?" I'm like, "Well, it is, but not really from Buenos. What's the story?" And he's like, "Well, my name is Giovanni, and I need a logo. And somebody told me that you could help me with a logo." I was like, "Yeah, dude, I couldn't, but I'll do that for you right now." So I did. And then, "Hey, I need this more from you." And so I did again. And then I did like 3 or 5 times. And then he calls me and he's like, "Hey, I need a marketing director." I'm like, "Well, I'm not a marketing director. I'm a creative director." He said, "Well, let's make it work." And this is it, man. We're making it work 5 years in.
Wow.
Yeah. Super cool, man. I'm very happy.
And now, what brand did you start with?
So there wasn't any other brands that you really know right now. I mean, we were more on the B2B side of things. So all the brands that people currently recognize from the GMX Group, this is all things that me and a big chunk of people, so absolutely not me, but me and a lot of other people in a team, we built from scratch. So that is Lumber Plus and Maximo Wood and US4 most recently.
There you go. The plus on my shirt. Yeah. I had those made because that's great. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just had to put that in there.
More brands.
So Lumber Plus. So you started. So there's Lumber Plus, GMX.
So GMX is
which is the umbrella.
Right? Yeah, there you go. It's the
GMX is the umbrella.
Correct.
So underneath that umbrella, there's Lumber Plus. There's Maximo Wood.
Right.
Now there's a company called US4.
That's right.
I'm the front man for that, by the way.
Sir.
And then what else is there, Marcello? What am I forgetting?
So we have Norx. That's a composite.
Oh, that's right.
Siding and ceiling composite material, which is, I mean, honestly, it's absurdly beautiful. I mean, we've been selling so much out of that. It's like
that cladding's pretty cool, but I just can't get away from Isles,
I know, man. I know.
The thermowood. It's like it's consuming.
Yeah, it's consuming. It's 2 different behaviors, right? So we have customers that they want, like, you know what? I don't want this to fade, and I don't want ever to oil it or stain it. I just want to put it there and forget for 30 years. All right, here's Norx for you. Absolutely perfect for that. Hey, but you know what? I want the wood grain, and I want it to, just have the wood vibe. I want to touch it and feel that it's wood. I don't want fake.
Yeah.
I eat organic. I go to Whole Foods. That's where I buy my stuff. So I live an organic life. That's what I'm looking for. So thermowood is your thing. I mean, why are you going to want anything fake in your house? So it really depends on what you're looking for.
I'll never sell clear cedar ever again.
Why would you,
It's
man?
really easy. It's easy to sell. Well, dude, okay, what people haven't heard yet, and maybe we'll get into this more in the bonus episode, but you guys are putting a 20-year warranty on a thermally modified wood product. You don't get that with cedar, man.
You don't. It's just...
Period.
Yeah, so thermowood in the United States was, until we came up, it was this very premium kind of material, right? So you would have these thermally modified woods that would compete with ipe. So they were like premium, and for premium and deep pockets, so you got to have a bigger budget for that. And then we came in and we said, well, that doesn't make any sense, because the technology is out there we want to democratize this and make it available for a lot of people. So what we did is we started just putting a spin on this product while keeping the same recipe as, this is still a legitimate thermally modified wood. I mean, we get to say thermowood because this is what we're doing. It is thermowood. But then we're just making it accessible to people. So now you have this at the same price as, VG cedar or hemlock or something like that. So why would you pick something that you never know what's coming, that you don't have a warranty on, and that is going to move a lot, after installation? Why wouldn't you just go with something that is modified at the cellular level through like super modern technology in Europe and is brought to the United States for the same price, and it's guaranteed for 20 years? So to me, it's a no-brainer, and I think that's one of the reasons why we are having so much success with this. And so thermally modified wood right now is really something that, dude, we don't even need to pitch. It's like when people look at thermo, at AO especially, but any kind of Maximo thermo, they ask they ask to see a sample, they hold it, they feel it, they ask the price point, they get blown away. There's your order, right?
Thank you so much for being on the Dr. Dex podcast. If somebody has some questions for you or they're curious, how do we get a hold of you?
Well, you can email me at Marcello at gmxgroup.com.
I know you have other emails. Are those still valid?
Yeah, they are. But I would say that this would be
okay. That's a good one.
This.
Yeah, that's the granddaddy.
That's it.
Marcello at gmxgroup.com.
Hey,
cool.
Doc,
all right.
I just want to thank you again for
the
opportunity. This is very cool.
It's
been a while since my last podcast. So hopefully I didn't just tire your audience with a lot of nonsense, but I was just happy to share some of the things that brought me here and
the mechanics of your life.
Man,
like that always interests
cool.
me. And our brand, our listeners, they like it.
That's good to hear, man.
But I don't really hear that too much in a text. I hear that face to face, like when I'm at a trade show. That kind of thing. There's more listeners than I realize, and it doesn't seem to indicate, like, maybe somebody doesn't catch the entire episode, so I don't know if that counts on our number count or not, or how that works, but so far so good. I haven't had anybody say, hey man, these are kind of boring or whatever. They're like, people really seem to enjoy it, and the guests like it too, because we get to talk a little bit about your history, how you got to where you are. What I've never known, basically almost everything you told me today, we didn't touch on with the time we've spent together so far. So it was a treat for me to find out more about you. So the next time that we're together, I can, understand even better about you and your history.
Man. That's awesome.
So we're grateful for that.
I'm grateful too for the opportunity to share some of it and for you to being so generous of having me on the show. So appreciate it. Calvin, you should be part of this, man.
No worries.
It's awesome to hang out with you and talk to you too. I think we needed 3 cameras for this. I know that you're there in the operating table, but you should be here with your dad, man. By the way, let me just wrap up.
I'm the voice of God.
Right. Hey, let me wrap on my end at least with this, because I think you got to listen to this, man. So me and my dad, I lost my dad 7 years ago, but this just powerful connection. He's the man that I love the most in my life, of course, until I met my kid, right? So it just touches me so profoundly when I see somebody like the two of you guys that work together. I mean, this was my dad's dream, like he really wanted me to work with him. We didn't have the opportunity to work as much. So You guys just keep tight there. And I know sometimes it's difficult with family and such, but it is beautiful to see you guys working together. Keep it up.
Thank you. Yeah, we don't hear that a lot, but
Ever.
hardly ever, right? But that's what the whole, like as far as Dr. Dex goes and the Dr. Dex brand, the YouTube channel is exclusively Calvin's creation. He runs, operates video, audio, editing, everything about it. All I got to do is talk. Now, this podcast, same thing. If it wasn't for Calvin, we wouldn't be having a podcast right now. So some of the revenue that's generated from these channels will go to him. So I can keep him around, because if I can't stay competitive and give him the right financial income, then he may have to go elsewhere to find that. So if we like the YouTube channel and we like the podcast, then we want to definitely make sure he's supported properly.
Awesome.
So
more than fair.
Thank
man.
you.
You've earned it, Calvin.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Speaking of Calvin, hit that music, Calvin, because we are at another end to another amazing podcast with Marcello. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce your last name, but go ahead.
Guimarães will do.
Yes. Ditto. Thank you. With much love, Marcello. Thank you for being on our podcast. And if you want to hear a little bit more, go to the Patreon channel, click the link in the description below, sign up, and you'll get to hear some more from Marcello from GMX Group. Thank you, Marcello. We appreciate
Thank
you.
Jason. Thank you, Calvin. Over and out.
Over and out. Over and out.